single people, right? That what happens is that, hey, I need a little bit more cash flow. I'm getting a little bit close to my retirement age. When should I be claiming? I think for single people, one of the best strategies is you just try to push this thing out as long as possible, because this is longevity insurance for you, all right? Because, hey, the longer you wait to claim your benefit, the higher benefit that you're going to receive. And think about it. No one's ever got upset that they waited, because we're thinking, hey, I want to claim it early because if I die prematurely, I'm going to lose out. Well, you know what? You can't think that way, because we're living a heck of a lot longer, and that longer or higher benefit for a longer period of time is really going to pay off. Al, let's get into what happens with married people and divorced people.
Yeah, so I'll start with divorced people, and you may or may not know this, but look at this. You can claim Social Security on your ex-spouse's work record, and they don't even have to approve it, so you don't need to get their permission. You can claim it on their work benefit. Now, here's how it works. So first of all, the benefit is up to 50%. I just lost my color. 50%. In other words, if their full retirement benefit is $20,000, you can claim $10,000. The second thing you need to know is you have to have been married for 10 years. If you were married 9 years and 11 months, too bad, unfortunately. So hopefully 10 years. Now, if you had more than one marriage that lasted more than 10 years, you can pick whichever spouse has a higher benefit for you.
Right, we're going to start an app, Alan, because let's say if you were married for one spouse for 10 years and then you're married again to another spouse for 10 years, you can pick the higher of the two. If you're not happy with that, just get married again for another 10 years, but just make sure you understand their Social Security benefit, right? So
yeah, an app might be...
Yeah, right? It's a dating app for people looking for higher Social Security.
But when you get to the point where you want to claim, you cannot be remarried, right? So all your marriages have to be before that. And finally, you need to be age 62 plus. So those are the rules for when you're divorced. You can actually claim on your spouse's record. And typically this will happen when the spousal benefit on the divorced spouse is greater than your own benefit.
I think one of the biggest things why people need to claim, Alan, is because of the survivor benefit. Is that, hey, you know what, if you lost a spouse, what happens here? Because you had two benefits, and then if one spouse dies, guess what? You lose one of those benefits. But the beauty of this is that you can take the higher of the two. So it's something. It's not as great as two benefits, but at least they can take the higher of the two.
Well, that is right, Joe. And as a matter of fact, that's why we often encourage for married couples, the couple with the spouse with the higher benefit, wait as long as you possibly can, all the way up to age 70, because the survivor, whichever one it is going to receive 100% of the highest benefit. So as Joe said, you won't get two benefits, but you get one. You get the higher of the two. So realize that. You have to have been married for 9 months, so you can't just get married and then one day later, something happens to him and you can't claim the benefits. And then finally, you need to be age 60 plus to be able to claim this benefit on a survivor. Now, if you or your spouse were disabled, you can actually do it at age 50.
So a few other things when it comes to survivor benefit or a widow benefit is that you can claim the widow benefit at age 60. But again, the same rules apply if you are working. So if you're still working at age 60 and you're fully employed, it's the same rules. If you make more than, $17,000, then $2, they take $1 back. So a lot of times it might not make sense. If you're not working, you can claim that widow benefit or widower benefit, and then you can switch back to your own benefit if you choose to. This gets extremely complicated. There's so many different combinations that you can claim your overall benefits. It's unbelievable. Married people. So then you're looking at, okay, well here you got two people, then they have their own benefits. What is the claiming strategies here? This is where it gets a little bit complicated. But here's one thing that I want to talk about is that the person, and Al just mentioned this, the person that has the larger benefit should wait as long as possible to protect the surviving spouse. You get an 8% delayed retirement credit each year that you wait after your full retirement age. But then, Al, what we don't usually talk about when it comes to Social Security is how it's taxed. Because we live in the state of California. Guess what? The state of California will not tax your Social Security benefit. And then up to 85% of your benefit will be subject to tax, but at least you get 15% of it tax-free. So if I'm pushing my benefit out, I get an 8% delayed retirement credit, so that's a lot larger benefit. The state of California is not going to tax it, and I also get 15% potentially tax-free from the federal government. If you put the tax equation in there, I think it's huge that a lot of you need to consider.